Chapter 4, Club of Rome, Committee of 300, Power is the Ultimate Aphrodisiac. This is a quote by Henry Kissinger, Club of Rome member. The resultant ideal sustainable population is hence more than 500 million but less than 1 billion. This is a Goals for Mankind quote, 1976. This group was organized in 1968 by the Morgenthau Group for the purpose of accelerating the plans to have the New World Order in place by the year 2000. According to ForbiddingKnowledge.com, the Club of Rome developed a plan to divide the world into 10 regions or kingdoms. In 1976, the United States Association of the Club of Rome, USACA, was formed for the purpose of shutting down the U.S. economy gradually. According to the Forbidding Knowledge website, Henry Kissinger was then, and still is, an important agent in the service of the Royal Institute for International Affairs, a member of the Club of Rome and also the Council on Foreign Relations. Kissinger's role in destabilizing the United States by the means of 3 wars, the Middle East, Korea and Vietnam, is well known, as is his role in the Gulf War, in which the U.S. Army acted as mercenaries for the Committee of 300, in bringing Kuwait back under its control and at the same time making an example out of Iraq so that other small nations weren't tempted to work out their own destiny. The Club of Rome, acting on the Committee of 300 orders to eliminate General ul-Haq, had no compunction in sacrificing the lives of a number of U.S. servicemen on board the flight, including a U.S. Army Defense Intelligence Agency group headed by Brigadier General Heber Warsam. General Haq had been warned by the Turkish Secret Service not to travel by plane as he was targeted for a mid-air bombing, so he took the U.S. team with him as an insurance policy. According to his advisors, the Earth has cancer and the cancer is man. This is a mankind at the turning point quote, 1974. Club of Rome and its financiers under the title of the German Marshall Fund were 2 highly organized conspiratorial bodies operating under cover of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and that the majority of Club of Rome executives were drawn from NATO. The Club of Rome formulated all of what NATO claimed as its policies and how the activities of the Committee of 300 member Lord Carrington. It was able to split NATO into 2 factions, a political left-wing power group and its former military alliance. The Club of Rome is still one of the most important foreign policy arms of the Committee of 300, and the other being the Bilderbergers. It was put together in 1968 from hard-core members of the original Morgenthau Group on the basis of a phone call made by the late Aurelio Pecciari for a new and urgent drive to speed up the plans of the One World government now called the New World Order. Pecciari's call was answered by the most subversive future planners from the US, France, Sweden, Britain, Switzerland and Japan. From 1968 to 1972, the Club of Rome became a cohesive entity of new science scientists, globalists, future planners and internationalists of every stripe. Pecciari's book entitled Human Quality formed the basis of the doctrine adopted by NATO's political wing. Pecciari headed the Atlantic Institute's Economic Council for 30 years while he was the chief executive officer for Giovanni Agnelli's Fiat Motor Company. Agnelli, a member of an ancient Italian black nobility family of the same name, is one of the most important members of the Committee of 300. He played a lead role in the development projects in Russia. The Club of Rome's mission is to act as a global catalyst of change that is free of any political, ideological or business interest. The Club of Rome contributes to the solution of what it calls the world problematique, the complex set of the most crucial problems, political, social, economic, technological, environmental, psychological and cultural, facing humanity. This information is taken from their website. The Club of Rome is a conspiratorial umbrella organization, a marriage between Anglo-American financiers and the old black nobility families of Europe, particularly the so-called nobility of London, Venice and Genoa. The key to the successful control of the world is their ability to create and manage savage economic recessions and eventual depressions. The Committee of 300 looks to social convulsions on a global scale, followed by depressions, as a softening up technique for bigger things to come, as its principal method of creating masses of people all over the world who will become its welfare recipients of the future. The committee bases much of its decisions affecting mankind on the philosophy of Polish aristocrat Felix Dzerzhinsky. He regarded mankind as being slightly above the level of cattle. His close friend was British intelligence agent Sidney Reilly, and he once told Reilly that man is of no importance. Look at what happens when you starve him. He begins to eat his dead companions to stay alive. Man is only interested in his own survival. That is all that counts. The Club of Rome's Harlan Cleveland prepared a report regarding the Third World. At the time, Cleveland was the U.S. ambassador to NATO. The paper said that it would be up to Third World nations to decide among themselves which populations should be eliminated. So who are the Committee of 300? They are also known as the Olympians. They are modelled after the British East India Company's Council of 300, who were founded by the British aristocracy in 1727. Most of its wealth arose from the opium trade with China. The group is responsible for the phony drug wars in the United States. The wars were to get the U.S. citizens to give away their constitutional rights. An example is asset forfeiture, where assets can be seized without trial and no proof of guilt is needed. The Committee of 300 decreed many years ago that there shall be a smaller, much smaller and better world. The myriads of useless eaters consuming scarce natural resources were to be culled. Industrial progress supports population growth. Therefore the command to multiply and subdue the earth found in Genesis had to be subverted. This called for an attack on Christianity, the slow but sure disintegration of industrial nation-states, the destruction of hundreds of millions of people, referred to by the Committee of 300 as surplus population, and the removal of any leader who dared to stand in the way of the committee's global planning to reach their foreign objectives. Not that the United States government didn't know, but as it was part of the conspiracy, it helped keep the lid on information rather than let the truth be known that Queen Elizabeth II is the head of the Committee of 300.